Welcome to Heroes of Cosplay Sanctuary podcast. This is your host, Scotty B. My next guest is a Canadian cosplayer who was won over by cosplay, and since it has been her love and life. Her beginnings as a gamer and an artist led her to cosplay, and she's been hooked ever since. She said cosplay is a love and gives her the opportunity for self-expression. She's connected with it, and with her talent as an artist and model, has risen to competing with her amazing builds. Featured on sites such as cosplayideas.net and scaling content everywhere online, please welcome creator, cosplayer, and model, Jamie DeRose.
Hey!
So I'm not gonna lie here, Jamie. We had some technical issues just a little while ago. We were like so far into the original cast, and I realized that the recording button wasn't on, and I'm so sorry. But here we are, and this is round two, and this is real now. So I've got everything working. It's just been kind of a day of technical difficulties.
Yay!
But we
First,
are
my internet.
so many different little snafus going on this morning, but I think we're loosened up and we're ready to talk about cosplay and about everything that Jamie does so amazing. Cosplay is love, cosplay is life. One of the quotes that I found for you, and just how you feel about cosplay, if you wouldn't mind talking about how you connect with your cosplay.
Okay.
It's always hard to do the second time around. So, but
Right? Because I'm just like, what did I say the first time? um, so I never actually thought that cosplay would kind of get this big. I kind of started it on really just like a whim, and just everything that I've put into it, and all the emotions and the love and the hard work and stuff, and all the stuff I've received in return back from it, like from the community, from the conventions, from everybody I've met and friends I've made along the way. Um, it's really such a big part of kind of who I am as a person now, where it hadn't been before, and kind of looking back on my life and to now and seeing just the difference in everything. It's just such a big passion of mine and such a big part of everything that I do now, and I just could not imagine my life not having cosplay in it. If I could just, sit in a room in a corner and just do nothing but cosplay for the rest of my life, I'd be perfectly content.
Just a cosplay gremlin.
Right.
Yes. So you've been cosplaying since 2016, but not officially started in Canada. You actually attended the Kentucky Comic and Toy Convention, and you wanted to meet a cosplayer there that you admired. Would you mind telling us about how you got started and how that con went?
Yeah. So I actually did not, uh, when I first started out into cosplay, it never was something that I thought I would ever do in my life. I was a weird nerd in high school, so I was into anime and I was into gaming, and I didn't want people to think I was even more weird by doing something like cosplay. And I actually didn't understand why people would cosplay in the first place. I would see pictures of people cosplaying and be like, this is so weird. Like, why do they do this? Like, this is weird. And after I graduated and I got out of all that weird high school drama stuff and was able to actually kind of blossom, I guess, into who I actually was, really, I decided that I was actually going to go to a convention and actually see what cosplay was all about and actually cosplay for the first time. And I had been following Jessica Nigri for a while at this point. So I was like, I'm going to go meet her. I'm going to see who she is. Like, she seems like a very cool, down to earth person. Like, I'd like to say hi to her. So I built my first 3 cosplays ever. They were Jessica Rabbit, from Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Rabbit, and then Raven from Teen Titans, and Robin but the girl Robin from The Dark Knight. And they were so bad, like looking at pictures in comparison from my very like first 3 cosplays to actually my like 3rd remake of them, they look so different and like on completely different levels. Like there's definitely like a huge glow up there. And yeah, once I cosplayed for the first time, I was hooked. Like I could not imagine doing anything else. It just became like such a big part of my life and everything that I like do.
And it definitely shows. It's part of you, and it's so great. Like, and it's not that the first ones were really bad when you look at them. Like, they're still amazing. It's amazing that you did everything by hand, that you put them all together, all the time, and all of the work and the passion that went into everything from then to now. And like you can see the growth and just the fun that you have with everything. You've also grown into modeling and competition, and you've competed not just in cosplay, but you've also entered competitions for modeling, including Maxim modeling. And you've expressed getting into the modeling industry itself. So, what do you enjoy about modeling and the art of expression, and aspiring to be a model while also working in cosplay?
So doing modeling kind of helped me come to terms in with a lot of like aspects of myself because I have a very bad self-image of myself. um, Inside and kind of like on the outside as well. Just, appreciating myself more as like a person and, understanding that like I am pretty, like I'm not ugly. And just like self-confidence, and then all of that kind of was thanks to modeling. I started out modeling specifically for the fact of getting kind of better at doing images for cosplay or doing cosplay photo shoots, and learning how to pose properly and stuff like that. And it kind of just grew into something bigger, and one of my like second passions, because it's a very different industry looking from cosplay and stuff. There are a lot of different aspects to it, in terms of rules and stuff like that, and just how much like harder it is, or like different, like it's harder on a different aspect. I would in no way ever say that modeling is like easy, because there is a lot of areas where you are judged by other people. But for me personally, it has actually been a very big confidence booster. So yeah.
Yes, and actually, you were in the middle of a photo shoot or just getting done with one when we met at C2E2 this year. And you were you'd worked with Jeff Jenkins. He's a friend of the show, great guy. And you were just over to the side of him, and you had all of these just amazing pieces and props, and all of the Warhammer stuff going on. And I just kind of went up, and I'm like, very silly of me to ask. Of course, I probably knew the answer already, but I asked you if how did you do all of that? How did you build all of this? And I guess I'm very curious, when you have something that's so huge like this, like the Warhammer build was. How does all of that come together, and like what's your process for building something so detailed and just really impressive?
So the Warhammer build that I competed with was actually my first ever full armor build. I hadn't actually made a full armor build before. I had used all the techniques that I used in the cosplay before on like little pieces, but to create something so big was actually one of the first things that I've ever done before. It was actually very challenging. There were a lot of nights where I was like crying on the floor, being like, I don't know if I'm going to get this done in time. Like, nothing's working. How do I get this to work? And just it was a very big learning experience for me personally. I built the whole thing in a month and a half, which I will never recommend anybody ever do a build that big in that short amount of time. Don't ever do it unless you are doing cosplay full time, because I work like 3 other jobs and I was trying to build this huge cosplay, and it was, yeah.
Oh, that's a
Not the
lot.
funnest
Yeah.
time. But just kind of start to finish, I highly recommend just looking up, getting a lot of reference images, front and back, and just kind of figuring out what you personally want to do for the cosplay, how detailed you want to make it, like how far and what kind of different aspects you want to learn. With almost all of my cosplays, I try to always take it to like the next step. Like, what can I learn new with this cosplay? Like, kind of broadening your skills, because eventually builds like that will get eventually easier. um, and just looking up tutorials, like anything that anybody else like has done kind of similar to that, or if you're looking into building like your first armor build, looking into like how EVA foam works or Warbler works, or just the basic design or set skills from that really helps, because even somebody else's like opinion and prospect of how they did it could be very useful or very helpful for you in your build. And then just kind of thinking outside the box, like all the rivets on my Sisters of Battle cosplay were made with googly eyes, which you would not have guessed that they were that, but they allowed to make it like a lot easier to create such a fine, tiny detail with very like minimal work in like putting it together and stuff like that. And then just like researching painting techniques and anything you want to do in terms of how you want the build to go and stuff like that. In terms of fabric, I always order my fabric online, so I will always get swatches to make sure they're the right fabric, and then order them in bulk. And yeah, I think that's a majority part of everything.
Yes, and you can tell. I mean, you can definitely see like you put so much into every single build that you work on and that you bring to the stage. One that came to mind was StarCraft Sarah Kerrigan, and I know you're a bit of a fan of that. But with looking at a build that you might do in the future and something that detailed, what's your process for like prepping out or looking at something new, like whatever? Do you have a
Uh,
process for that?
Yes, I do actually. So my process for kind of looking at starting something new and where I want to get started on that, I kind of look at what other people have done for their builds, like what materials they've used, any kind of sort of tutorial and stuff like that. Um, and I kind of take aspects of what they've used in their cosplay to kind of progress mine, because I want my cosplay to be like the next step up in kind of in terms of skills and techniques used in it. I want to be able to like push myself that much farther and learn that much more techniques. So I'll look at everybody else's and what they've done. From there, I'll actually start writing down, what I want to do, and then from there, I'll start planning out material lists, where I can get everything, and then from there, I actually break it down to how I would like what I would start with first, and like the basically like step 1 to like step 200 and how I would make the actual build. And from there, it's just kind of putting that process into effect, like actually working through that whole process. And that's pretty much how I break down my build and stuff like that. I can't wait to do this particular character. I want to do a full like live cast of my body and prosthetics and everything like that. And that will really be like something that I've never ever done before, but it's going to be super intense and I can't wait to do it.
We know you do share unboxings and some of the how-tos on your YouTube channel, which is SmileCosplayJamie. You recently did an unboxing for different product for your chair, and I just wondered, and certainly for the audience, I definitely know it's super tough to create a YouTube channel and then keep feeding it content. But do you see that you'll be doing more videos in the future?
Yeah, absolutely. I actually have a whole list of over like 300 or 400 videos of actual just ideas of things that I really want to do just to create YouTube content. Going into like this part of how big cosplay has really gotten for me, I want to actually start doing a lot more tutorials and like just creating a lot more free content for people, because I know when you're first getting into cosplay, it can seem super intimidating or super hard. But in reality, it's not. It's just the breakdown process of having to like break everything down so it doesn't seem so big, even though it is really big. And then I have a lot of like little cute ideas. I want to kind of put some content from my Twitch on there as well. Just some like, highlight videos from that as well, because I think that would be pretty super neat.
Yes, I would definitely like to see more from your Twitch channel on there. Your Smile Cosplay on Twitch, and you are a bit of a gamer, if I'm not mistaken. But you like to go on Twitch because it's a way that you can give back and spend time with your fans and your followers. Would you like to talk about your Twitch channel and just some of the things that you enjoy most about gaming?
Yeah. So I've been Twitch streaming for I think about 2 years now, on and off. I am a Twitch affiliate right now. A I usually stream League of Legends or any like really JRPGs. So I've Twitch streamed Final Fantasy. I think I've Twitch streamed Kingdom Hearts. And then I've also Twitch streamed games like Borderlands, which is the only first person shooter game that I will ever play. I get motion sickness, so playing games that are first person shooters is not a fun time.
Oh,
I
wow.
usually can only play for about an hour and then I feel like I'm going to throw up. But in terms of like what I really enjoy about gaming, I mainly play JRPGs when I'm just gaming by myself. Or I usually won't play League of Legends if I'm just by myself. It's usually JRPGs. And it's just the storyline and just immersing yourself in like a different world. I am a completionist, so I literally will like find every little like side quest that I can ever do and collect everything, even though there's no point to that. And I should just do the storyline and get the game done.
Yes, well, that's kind of how Fallout 4 just is. I mean, I think it should just be called Hoarders, because you just go, oh, look, oh, you could do these cool things, and oh, there
I
was a
need
boss.
all of
Oh,
this and everything, and I need that. No, stop it, Jamie. Finish the game.
but it's so great. Definitely great content coming from your Twitch stream, and we appreciate you very much for doing that and for putting all of this together, Jamie. It's so much, and I think again, just for the show, and for the people listening, that there's always so much that goes into everything that you see. And I think we often take that for granted, that being on the stage and just being able to present everything the way that you do, Jamie. And then also having to juggle all of the different work that you do in the real life, as many of us do, that I think we sometimes forget just all of the talent and skill and ability and just the constantness and also just the want to do it.
Yeah.
It's so apparent. And we thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming on.
You're
And
welcome.
I'm
Thank you
glad.
so much for having me.
Yes, and I do again. I'm so sorry about all the technical issues that we've had today, but it's a learning process, just like cosplay. You learn as you go, and sometimes it doesn't work quite right. I think we've all run into little snafus at conventions where pieces might fall off or something didn't quite get attached right, and you just roll with it sometimes. And
Or you cut the
or
fabric out the wrong time, like 6 times in a row.
exactly. So as we come to the end of the show, I do have a couple of questions for you. They're a little bit different than those that I've been asking. So if you're all set, I will go ahead with my final three questions for you.
Yeah.
First one's an easy one. What is your favorite game ever?
I don't like questions like these.
It can change later. It's fine.
It's questions like these are really hard for me because I like things for like different things. Like there's different aspects of a lot of games that I like. So it's really hard for me to like put favorites down on things. Especially I'm like that with like music and stuff. People will be like, "What's your favorite song?" I'm like, people have favorite songs.
There's a favorite.
I thought you're just supposed to like them all. But probably Valkyrie Profile 2 or one of the Xenosaga games.
Ooh, that's a good choice.
Right?
Xenos is fun.
I really want to like build a Cosmos cosplay, but I'm like so intimidated by it.
Probably someday soon, though. It'll be coming soon by Jamie. So my next question is, what is so far the toughest material that you've worked with on a build?
Warbler.
Marbla. Yeah, I've noticed that a lot. Like Warbler, I'm starting to wonder if I should ever use Warbler at all. But it's very tricky, it seems.
It is so much easier to use EVA foam than it is to use Worbla because there's a certain way that you have to like heat it up. And for somebody who's impatient like myself, then I have like no patience. I have no time waiting for like it to heat up properly to the right temperature. And you have such a limited amount of like work time. And then you're like burning your hands because it's so hot. And it's just like, ah. And then it starts bubbling because it's burning. And you're like, what am I doing wrong? This isn't what the
Wow.
tutorial said would happen.
Yeah, this wasn't in the book. What's going on here? It's just I was just supposed to put a little hook in here and then attach it to and then it just kind of melted. Um, so my last question for you is, what do you want your impact on the world to be?
um, this is a really hard one. I think one of my what I really want my impact on the world to be is just kind of loving yourself in general and just finding the self-confidence in yourself more or less. I've had a really tough time dealing with like self-image really like my whole life. And so I really want to like help people see that they are as great as everybody says that they are. So
That's that's awesome. Where can we find you and how can we support you online, Jamie?
so you can find me on a couple different places. I have my own personal website. It's SmileCosplayJamie. And then I do have an Instagram, and a Facebook and a YouTube and a Twitch. And all of those are SmileCosplayJamie. And then I do also have a TikTok that I've recently started and gotten into. So I'm having a lot of fun on there. Definitely go like and follow me on there. And then ways that you kind of can just like support me, liking and sharing my content, commenting. And then I do sell prints on my website that you can buy, and then as well as like patterns. Right now my Patreon is closed because I'm kind of doing a remodeling of what I actually want to create as content on there and what I want to give back to other creators right now. But I will be having a Patreon come back within the next couple months.
And we will be looking forward to that. And yes, definitely check out the website that Jamie has worked so hard to put together, and check out the prints. There's a lot that she really offers. It's really, Jamie, you do such an amazing job of scaling your content, and everything that you produce is just so great. I can't think of the right words for it. I think everybody just needs to check it out. I'll have the links to everything in the show notes. So yeah, thank you so much again, Jamie. It's been great, and certainly we love having you on the show. And yes, so this is Scotty B for Heroes of Cosplay Sanctuary podcast. Thanks so much, everyone. Bye-bye.